Yes, we're working. This is Nicholas Tanek from YourKinkyFriends.com. Oh my God, I have a wonderful show for you tonight. Mistress Lydia Delore is back.
You said it correctly.
Yes, she's back. Oh, I love her so much. She's great. She's wonderful, and she has done work with Dominate Me magazine, and we have the creator, owner, and editor. Is that fair enough?
That's fair enough.
Of Dominate Me magazine, and I love domination and femdom. So please welcome Mr. Michael Harris and Mistress Lydia Delore.
Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, thank you for being here. It's great. So let's start with you, Mike. Right before we get right back to Mistress Lydia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am the owner of HF Music and Media Group, which is a promotions group out of Newbern, North Carolina. And I used to do rock shows. I did like 134 rock shows in 5 years. And I used to promote bands from all over the country and Canada. And so out of that, the Dominate Me magazine was born. So because the lifestyle's always been a part of me. It goes all the way back. It's in my high school annual. That's how much of a part of me it's been. So, ever since then, I've always been fascinated by it. It's always been a part of me. It was a part of my last relationship for 15, 16 years. So now this is what I love to do. And also I'm a graphics artist and photographer as well. So all of that coupled in together, learning how to use graphics through making rock show flyers has turned into putting together one really banging magazine that I'm really, really proud of.
Yeah, it's as you should be. We'll get to that, but Mistress Lydia, how have you been?
I've been doing well. Lots been different since the last time I was, speaking to you. So a lot's been going on.
So what's new?
One of the things is, I got a new dungeon and play space. So it's huge. It's on 35 acres of land. It used to be a farm. So I got like a barn now for suspension. I have horse stalls. I have all kinds of things for pony play. I mean, I have a lot going on now. I can
That's
do about
awesome.
everything that I want it to. So
That sounds impressive. I want to see that. Maybe we could do a live show there.
yeah.
Okay, so out of this new dungeon, do you have like a certain favorite room or part or a piece of equipment?
Outdoors. I like the outdoors. So using a tree, tying somebody up to a tree, with two arms like this is, fun for impact play or ball busting.
Yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
like to use
Ball
that
busting.
for.
Ball busting is like one of your specialties. Ball busting is one of your specialties, and you had some very creative last year when we did the interview. You had some pretty creative ideas. Anything new in the CBT ball busting kind of situation?
I mean, just having the outdoor spaces, all new. I can do a lot of mind fuck stuff outside. It's kind of scary outside. So there's all these old barns and buildings, and um, there's wildlife out there, and you can tie somebody up and leave them there at night, and they're not going to know if they're going to be eaten alive or not. They're pretty scared, and I like to mess with people's minds or stick them in the barn, with no lights on, and just really scare them. So
Yeah, I think I was watching our interview and we were talking about I don't know, I forget, but it was like talking about like cock and ball torture using like fire ants and, and
oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a typical day. So
As for
another
Kink.
oh yes. Any more kinky nun adventures?
Um, Not really in any adventures right now. Just the adventure is getting the new place set and all together, and I am hiring some people and training them, so it's taking up, quite a bit of my time.
Okay,
So
great. And also chastity is something that you're into. Do you you had people in chastity last time we spoke? Do you have anybody in chastity right now?
yes,
All
I
right.
have I have 4 people now in chastity.
That's a responsibility. That's a responsibility. And what's the longest they been locked up for?
Uh, I'd say, I mean, the most recent, probably about 8 months.
Oh wow. Okay. Longest I've ever been locked up is 2 weeks. Yeah. That was, yeah.
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
this is hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah. So hardcore. Well, see, the thing is that my dom really enjoys unlocking me to play with me. So
To
so,
tease you, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, you two came together, and so tell us about first of all how you two met.
That is something that
Michael?
I can't remember if we've met on FetLife or Facebook. I can't remember.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah,
I think
and
it was Felt Life, but I'm not sure. It's been a while.
I think it was too because originally Dominate it was FetLife. Originally Dominate Me was a string of rock shows. And what I would do is I would have
Yeah.
4 rock bands and I would have 4 BDSM demonstrations during the show. So it would start out with a BDSM demo, then it would go into a 45 or 40-minute set of a rock band, then it would do a BDSM demo, then a metal band, and so on. It's kind of like a mini BDSM metal festival. And I've had 6 of them total and 4 that were really big. And that's how, and it was called Dominate Me. That was the name of the rock shows. That was their theme name. And so from there, I quit doing the rock shows because they got to be way too much overhead and too expensive. But I couldn't give up the name. I couldn't do it. It was something that I just refused to do. So I took the format of the show and the name and turned it into a magazine.
Okay. Oh, and yeah, Mistress Lydia, if it keeps on freezing or can you hear me? I don't know. Oh no. Um. Oh no. She can't. Oh no. Hmm. Log back in. Log back. She can't hear me. Here. Log. Okay. Okay. So in the meantime, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you fine. I'm good.
Okay. Great. So I always ask your very first time out as kinky. So was it at a party? Was it at a munch? Um, was it just one-on-one in person? Was it, at a dungeon? When was it at one of these shows?
Well, what's your question again? I wasn't quite
First
understanding.
time, like out as a kinky person.
Oh, I went to an adult lifetime out in the social scene. They have a club here in Fayetteville, and they used to have a Freaky Friday and an RNT, and they would happen every other Friday, and it was in a lifestyle club, and I would go there and I started going there because I met a friend, and she kept begging me and telling me, you should go, you should go, you should go. And I'm like, I'm not really a social person, but I gave it a shot and it was really cool to go. They gave me a full whenever you're first there, they always give you a full tour of the place. They always show you each and every room and what they're used for. There were a couple people that I already knew, so they were kind of anxious to meet me. And one of the dominants who was there, I became really, really, really good friends with. And I'll never forget it because I came in, I sat down beside him. He's one of the first people I talked to. And we were talking, and something happened, and it came out of my mouth that I didn't like Leonard Skinner. And he immediately pulled his knife out and stuck it straight at me. And I was like, let me rephrase that. So I said, I'm not a fan of their music, but I respect them as artists. Okay. And he was looked at me. He said, we'll go with that. And he folded his knife back up and put it in his pocket. But he passed away last year from cancer, God rest him. He became a really good social mentor for me. And he was an amazing person. So he is missed.
Was Mistress Lydia a part of these live shows, these concerts?
She was not able to make it sometimes because I didn't have them very often. I only had them like once every 6 months. And they were always on an off night from where other clubs were doing events so that I could make sure that I wouldn't step on anyone. And it was hard for everyone to be able to clear their schedules. She always messaged me. She always said, I want to go. I can't make it. Please tell me when the next one is. And I always messaged her back and always told her. And, you know, from there, we got to talking. And then when I created this from the FetLife page, and I turned, because the FetLife page has always stayed the same. It's always stayed X_dominate_me_X. And so we just basically just went in and redid everything. I just basically re-edited everything. And then when she saw that, she was like, do you need a writer? And I was like, yes, because I have all the music contacts in the world, all the press contacts in the world, but I don't have a lot of people who are willing to take time out of their life and write down a subject that everyone can easily understand, simple subjects. I mean, I don't get into CBT or any of that, but I do ask her, like, get into basics of stuff like the article we got coming up in our next issue is BDSM protocols. Mm-hmm. So she does that, and we've done pet play, we've done BDSM introduction in relationships, we've done a bunch of them. So I've even went out on a limb and researched and found an alphabet that has kinks that go in the alphabet from A to Z.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, I researched and did that, and then I went in and rewrote a lot of the things so that it would come out and still be interesting for the magazine. So
I understand what inspired you now, but how did you get momentum to actually start it? Like, it took a while. I was doing podcasts and writing articles for other blogs and stuff like that. And after, that kind of dissipated, I was just, everybody in my circle of friends was like, why don't you just start doing your own stuff? Yeah. Okay. And it really took my friend Mush Mush to, design the website, make it really easy. And it so it took some time to do that. I hope Lydia comes back. But so what were some of the major challenges you faced, not only starting it, but that you face now?
Criticism.
Okay.
Criticism.
Interesting. What are you criticized for?
Well, when I did the shows, I had, because they were metal shows, I had to do them in music venues. The one thing that's in music venues is alcohol. And because there was alcohol there are a lot of lifestylists who do not believe that BDSM and alcohol go together. They see it as a safety and a risk issue, which I fully understand. I do. And so I went to some of the mentors in the community and I was like, okay, help me out. What can I do to make the show better for everyone? And they said, well, put it in a lifestyle venue. I was like, okay, I could put it in a lifestyle venue. Do they have $30,000 in sound for bands to play through? And they were like, no. And I was like, well, I can't put it in a lifestyle venue. It's got to be done in a public venue, and it's got to be done where they have adequate sound. So I got criticized for that. Now I'm getting a lot of it has toned down some. A lot of the judgment and the criticism has toned down some. Now, more or less, the challenges I face as far as the criticism goes is trying to. I don't want people to think I'm trying to profit off the lifestyle. You know what I mean? That's not. Yeah, no. If you look at the 150 and 200 hours it takes to put just one issue together, it is quite obvious that I'm not profiting. Especially if you look at the fact that each issue costs about $18.99 and I only get $3 of it.
Yeah, print media. What about now? What's your opinion of, print media versus online media? Like newspapers, are kind of going away. I personally like a physical book, you know what I mean, or a physical record. I like physical media. My record collection is insane. My book collection, my library is just wild. Yeah. And I've written 3 books on the physical media aspect. I barely make any money from it. The Kindle versions of the book, that's a whole different story. And so what's your opinion of physical media versus digital media?
I still buy CDs.
Me too.
So, and a lot of the time the bands that I like are in Europe and you can't buy the CDs here. So I have to order them.
Yeah.
So ordering the magazine is the same thing to me as having to order a CD because it has to come in the mail to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I wish I could get this magazine in newsstands and in bookstores? Absolutely. The problem with that is finding a publisher who will handle the content.
Yeah.
And there just are not a lot of publishers out there who will.
But you basically publish it yourself, but you don't run the printing or anything like that.
I don't run the it's done all through MagCloud. MagCloud does everything with the magazine. We upload it in PDF format and it goes into their server. And then when someone orders it, then their printers automatically kick off and they put the magazine together at MagCloud and then send it out to the person who ordered it. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I can say is when some of the reason that this magazine is a little higher is because I hold it to a higher standard. It gets gloss paper, it gets hard binding, and so I'm not one. I don't want to staple together magazine. I want it to feel like a book when you open it. So that does bring the price up a tad, but you get a high quality magazine when you get it. So that is something I'm a big stickler about. If somebody's going to pay extra or even $18-19 for a magazine, they need to get something of super high quality.
All right, I got something to show you. Hold on.
All
right. So when it comes to magazines and stuff like that, these are like you go to a porn store or something like that and you get something like this, and this is only about 47 pages. How many pages is a typical Dominate Me magazine?
Anywhere from 60, 70 all the way up to 90 pages.
Wow, that's impressive. And like seriously, a lot of it is ads. You know, some I can't show on YouTube, but you know what I mean. It's like enslaved stuff like that, and you know, sissy stuff, like you know, stuff like that. Um, $20. This one's $20. This one's 18.50. Now, do you, when it comes to your magazine, is everything done online, or do you like send them out to like porn shops or anything like that, or theaters, or to have them?
It's all online,
Okay.
and the reason it's all online is because it's too much overhead to try to bring to different bookstores and shops for them to sell. It's just way too much overhead, and it makes it hard for me to, because they have to be pre-ordered. Now, again, I would get them at cost without the overhead, but that's still $15, $16 a copy. And if I order, you know, if I order even 20 copies at $15, I mean, you do the math, it gets up there real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like the way you got to do it is like, I guess, like if you would want to put them in stores or sell them yourself, you know, you would have to buy it and then sell it to another bookstore or a porn shop or something like that.
Yeah, I would have to try to get some, and like most places like magazines, they get, if they're printed off by another printer and they get a whole bunch of them that have subscriptions and everything else, they can afford the overhead. With this being independent, I don't get that. I don't get to the ability to afford that. So
yeah, but what you're doing, like, I really appreciate what, because this is what I'm trying to do too. I don't do these interviews, or I don't write for you know, for money. You know, I do this for the love, and you know, like maybe someone can learn something. Maybe somebody could, you know, feel something, or express themselves, you know, and feel comfortable like that. So let's talk about the woods.
the
Now,
what?
the woods.
Okay.
All right. I grew up, you know, and before the internet, I would always find, I lived by a park growing up, and there always seemed to be, and this is like a thing, look it up if you don't know about it already, which I'm sure you do, but people used to stash porn in the woods. So so I was like, you know, you look under a rock or something, you're a kid, and you're like, oh my God, there's this magazine, and you're like, oh my God, what is this? You know? And I'd say over the course of growing up, I have found various porn in the woods, hidden in the woods somewhere, at least 3 or 4 times. You know,
Wow.
yeah. So why do you think, like, why do you think people stash it in like the woods and stuff like that?
Because especially if they're in a relationship or they're married, the wife 9 times out of 10 will know all a man's hiding places, because she will know the man better than he will. So the best thing to do, and she's not going to go out in the woods. There's snakes, there's any and everything you can possibly think of, and poison ivy. So he can find his own little tree hole and stick it in there, knowing that she's not going to go out there and fight the critters to look for it.
Mistress Lydia will go out in the woods and find your porn.
Oh, she will. She will, but for the most part, I'd say about 80% wouldn't. I do know a few that you would think they were born and raised in the woods as to how much they put to be in it. But other than that, that's probably why.
So now, first of all, I love Mistress Lydia, and you know, I'm very, very glad that you're on the show, and so I consider this like a gap. You know what I mean? As a host. So who do you want to? Who are you looking to, like, either interview or be a part of who's your get? Who's your you know, big white whale, so to speak?
If I was going to interview, the biggest interview I think I could possibly get, because I'm more on the fetish side, I like the fashion and the look and the feel. I like to photograph it. So being a photographer also, I think the biggest interview I could do would probably be with Starfucked. Starfucked would be a really big interview for me. She is one of the first ones that I started following on social media when I joined social media.
Mm-hmm.
And also probably Josephine Johnson.
Oh.
She is a very, very amazing photographer. She's the first fetish photographer that I ever followed because of she has such taste in the way that she shoots, because a lot of her stuff is shot outside, which is why I shoot outside. I never learned to shoot in the studio. I've learned to do everything outside. And her taste in the way that she does things is extraordinary. So it's a toss-up between those two. And now I have interviewed Danny Devine. I have interviewed Elegy Elam and Latte Lave, who are really big in Europe, who do performances all over the world too. So that was really awesome to be able to interview them and to talk to them and work with them was really special. That was fun.
Let's talk photography. First of all, what kind of cameras do you use?
I use, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually have it here. This is my go-to. This is my everything camera. And I bought this camera in 2014. That's how old this digital camera is. This is a Nikon D3200. And I use only 2 lenses, and that is it. I don't have the great big fancy long humongous lenses or the great big crazy portrait lenses that a lot of the other photographers have. I have just this basic camera. It shoots fabulous. The one thing I do have is I have about $5,000 invested in editing tools. So, you know, I don't have to be spot on perfect with a low budget camera, because I can fix it and make the images look spectacular through Photoshop and Lightroom if there is a problem. And 9 times out of 10, there's not a problem, but because I know the settings on that. But if I was to go into an upgraded camera, then I would probably go mirrorless, because that's the new thing now. And I'm really interested in trying that.
Interesting. I was watching. I'm kind of like obsessed with Stanley Kubrick. You know what I mean? And he got his start. The director got his start in photography, and there's a great documentary called The Life in Pictures, and a lot of it's about just photography and like weird projection cameras and stuff like that, and the wild images of that. So, what makes a good BDSM photograph?
The angle. Now the thing about that is, and a friend of mine taught me this. His name's Roger Morton. He said, you can shoot a picture as straight on as you want. He said, but angles mean everything. He said, you can make a tiny, tiny room look like a humongous venue just by changing the angle. When you're shooting, because I started out with live music photography, which coincidentally is one of the hardest things to shoot. So he was like, when we're up on stage, if you shoot us from an angle, then it makes the room look bigger instead of just shooting us straight on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. So I started doing that, and from there I learned that angles mean everything, and that's in all photography.
Interesting. Okay, that reminds me of Citizen Kane, Orson Welles.
Mm-hmm.
He dug a hole in the ground so he could stand in the hole and shoot up.
Yeah.
When he was
exactly.
Yeah.
You have to have the angle because angle will change light. And when you change light, you change mood. And when you change mood, then you add drama and flair to the photo. So that's really kind of awesome when you can do that. And when you can see it, another thing is being able to foresee what your image is going to look like before you shoot it. Like when you're looking at someone, how do I want to shoot this so that it looks appealing to them and makes them, flatters their angles, makes them look better than just an ordinary straight on shot, because a straight on shot just looks like a business photo.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so let's talk about articles.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, it seems like I mean, it seems like there's so many sex bloggers and BDSM bloggers and stuff like that, and I'm one of them. I know, but I personally try to add something special to it.
Yeah.
Like for example, we have like a series, you know, our kinky sadism friends, and where you know, I ask a couple of my sadism friends, like maybe 3, maybe 4, a bunch of questions, and they're all the same questions, and I put their summary up, their bio, I mean, you know, their links, a pic, and then they answer the questions, and then at the end I go, so what do we learn from all this? I like to think, and I get really personal too, you know, about it. So what would you say makes a good article about BDSM and or kink?
A good article about BDSM to me is when you can sit down and you can read it. I mean, there's a lot that every element goes into an article when I try to do an article, especially when it comes to BDSM, because what I want is, I don't want people to open up the page and just see words.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put in some BDSM photos that will work for the article, and I'll, like, this last month and this month I introduced new page, a new style page, so that when people open up the page, it doesn't look boring. It has a wow factor when they open up the page. And I did a lot of research and a lot of working with fonts and working with shadows, with lettering, just to, I mean, I take things down to the finest detail when I'm doing this, so that when people go to look at it, they're like, there's a certain wow factor. It makes you want to read it. It's not like, okay, there's a line, there's a title, there's the words. No, I want it to engage them so that they want to be engaged in it. So, and because it's a metal magazine, the pages will obviously have a look of texture. The letters will have a look of a chrome or metal style type lettering that has glitz to it or sparkle to it. A funny thing about that, I learned that little thing from my grandfather. He said you can take a piece of corn and a piece of tinfoil, you put it down on the ground, and watch what the crow is going to do. He's going to take the tinfoil because it's shiny. He's not even going to bother with the food. He's going to take the tinfoil. And 9 times out of 10, he was always right.
Wow.
So I took that from like a 4-year-old, as a 4-year-old lesson at a 4-year-old, and I applied a lot of those things into my flyers, which turned into the magazine. Because if you look at a lot of things online, there's no pop to them. There's no grab me character to it.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. Yeah,
there's nothing that says take me. I want you to take me and read me.
I totally get that, and that's why like the banners that we make, I try to make them like that. Like for the Mistress Lydia interview that I did before, she's got a banner, like she's in a nun outfit, and she's like got her makeup running and stuff like that. It's like I wanted someone to be like, I want to see what that is all about, you know what I mean? That's what I think is missing with digital media, although it's very, very convenient digital media, you know, streaming online and everything like that, but it's convenient just to hit a button and watch a movie, but actually going to a movie or actually putting on a record, or a CD or something like that, or opening up a book and reading. I don't think I've ever like completely read a book on, and I guess I did, but like, no, I got like, no, like I like holding it. I like, like the smell of paper.
Yeah. I mean, the only book I've ever read all the way through was Flowers in the Attic.
Oh yeah.
So that's the only book that that's ever engaged me.
Okay. Yeah, but reading it on Kindle versus reading it like in your hand.
No.
You know what I mean? There's something totally different. Okay, so you are what are your kinks specifically? What like yeah, everyone's into different things,
Okay, that's okay. Here's where it kind of gets confusing with me, but at the same time, I think a lot of people may get it. I'm 90% dominant.
Okay.
I like to take control. I like to be in charge of the situation from start to finish, no matter what it is. It's in everyday life. That's everything. And a lot of time, even at my job, I'm not a boss, but I say, okay, let's grab this, let's do this, and I'm constantly leading, even though I'm not exactly that type of figure at my day job. So 90% I'm in control. I have a whipping post in my bedroom that I absolutely love, that I made myself. I work at a humongous hardware chain, so I have everything readily available whenever I need it, and I get discount. So on top of that, I can get things, better than what a lot of people can. I have 4 rubber floggers that are either steampunk or goth oriented. I have a 5-foot dragon tail that was made in Australia. I have 3 different collars, one custom made. There's only one like it in the world from Greece, and it's mine. It was custom handmade. I have another collar that I ordered from Honor, and I have another collar that's just a typical day collar that is in my room just because sometimes plain is better than the glitz and the glamour. So
yeah, definitely.
I mean, nothing that's too flashy that someone can wear as like a choker. But my definite go-to is my Grecian collar. It's my favorite. It's got a wolf head on it, and with purple amethyst eyes, and it's an absolutely amazing. Everyone who's ever seen it, I've even had Dame share it on Twitter like crazy. They were like, "You got to see this,"
Yeah. Okay. So
the other 10%, I have one special person that I go to for, and she has hit me on occasion. We'll do 30-40 minute sessions where I just take it, because that's where my sadomasochism comes out. So every now and then I need some relief from all the leading and the writing and the promotion and the pushing, and because I push like crazy every single day doing because I live, breathe, and eat this magazine. So every now and then I go to her. She says, "All right, are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yep." And we turn the music on, and it doesn't stop until I fall to the floor. So
what kind of music?
Heavy, very heavy.
Heavy metal. Now, have you seen the show Metalocalypse?
I have, but daggone, it's escaping me.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's funny. It's animated. It's funny. It's brutal. It's incredibly bloody.
Oh yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. I was getting it mixed up with the opera that came out back in 2012. I was getting it mixed up with that.
Oh my, Pickford Banner. Okay, Pickford Banner dominate me. My dom is like wants to make the banner, and yeah, okay. So, all right, let's talk about personal relationships. Are you in a personal relationship now?
I am in a long distance relationship right now with someone who is absolutely fantastic.
Awesome. How do you keep the long distance relationship going? I mean, there's many challenges to that.
It is 100% absolutely difficult. I don't recommend it for anyone. I swore off long distance relationships permanently a long time ago, before even my first wife, because I've been married twice. And I swore those off a long time ago. And for some reason, this one just works. She is absolutely amazing. She has 5 stores in, I think it's 5, I'm pretty sure I got my figure right, in Peru, that are some of the top businesses in the whole entire country. You can find her at www.sexsecretos.com. That's her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she is amazing. She runs a tight ship. It's absolutely beautiful store. When you walk in, you think you're walking into this red velour and gold Victorian castle. That's like a BDSM playroom at the same time, with every kind of super exotic toy you can think of. I'm talking super exotic.
That sounds awesome. That sounds cool. Okay. How did you meet?
I met her through Instagram, because everybody wants me to share their pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says, "Hey, can you share me in your posts, or in your little story, what have you, on Instagram?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can share you."
Okay.
So she went back and she looked up my HF Music and Media Group site on Instagram. She was like, "I would love for you to photograph me." And I was like, "Well, okay, where are you at?" And I didn't realize she was talking to me in translator. She doesn't speak hardly any English at all. She may speak 5 words of English. But we got it worked out, and she said she wanted to come here, and it just blossomed from there. And now we talk every single day. We send videos back and forth to each other.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I even like to entice her a little bit by pulling stuff off a Tumblr and just shoving it in there and say, "Hey, have a good day."
All right, so okay, you met on Instagram. So the kink rabbit hole goes deep. I'm into stuff that I never thought I'd be into. Like,
Okay.
I never thought I'd own a homemade. No, I'm sorry, not homemade. A custom made chastity device. You know what I mean? So what are some new things that you're interested in that you want to try?
New things that I'm interested, that I want to try,
Or that you're just trying out now?
I have been asked to photograph people with shibari and be tied up, and I'm not a rope person. I like shackles, chains. I'm a metal guy, and I grew up in fantasy magazines and comic books. So I want to shackle people and see the chains dangling off of them. Well, rope is expensive. It's rope. Learning how to do rope work is very, very, very time consuming for me. I don't have the patience for it, but I need to learn how to do it so that I can do some shibari photography, because I've been asked to do it a lot. Another thing that I'm interested in is I want to get a lot more deeper into my primal side. I'm very primal, and I know that. But the problem is trying to find another primal in the community, because they're very far and few between.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even understand primal play or what's involved in it. So there are a couple that I've met that are absolutely 100%. They're perfect pet players. So they know, because pet play and primal play can go hand in hand.
Definitely.
I have had a couple experiences that were absolutely fabulous, with a couple people that I still hold very close. I still keep on my message them every now and then, just check on them, see how they're doing. Even though we don't have a relationship together anymore, or that type of, that type of play anymore, I still check on them, see how they're doing. It's my kind of dominant daddy nature that I have to check on people and see, because I do have a little bit of daddy in me too. So, I like to play with hair and wash hair and sit down and, baby and pamper, and, I like kind of a semi-bratty female is kind of good for me too, because when they get bratty, I can just kind of look over at them, and they're like, and then, we feed off of each other like that. I've had that a couple of times, and that was really awesome.
Okay. So now, where do you see the future of Dominate Me magazine, and when it comes to bloggers or people who are creating content in the BDSM community, whether it's video, whether it's articles, like, what would you like to see? What do you think is needed? And I know that you're trying to make something of high quality.
Yeah.
But like, what would you like to see either you or other people do?
Right now, it's up for best online blog and fetish magazine for the UK Fetish Awards, which is huge. I want to see more accreditation for it. I want to see more acclaim for it. I want it to be considered serious. It's not just a bunch of pretty women in tight shiny clothes. We have real articles in there, real music articles. We have at least one, if not two, BDSM articles a month that are really real. The music articles are 100% straight from PR. It's not something that I just make up off the top of my head. It's straight from press releases that I get in my emails. And all of that is real. And even like we have advertisements in there that are for the lifestyle. We have fetish photographers. We have gothic clothing in there. We have all kinds of ads in there. So I want it to be considered serious. So I'm working really hard. I live, eat, and breathe this thing.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how you feel, because I'm the same way with this.
Yeah.
I come from like a punk rock thing, so this is like, this is like lo-fi punk rock style. Like, there's not graphics or titles or anything like that. It's just like, boom, we're on the internet now. We're recording.
And everybody presses me. They're like, you need to make money. You need to make money. You need to make money. It's nice. It's nice when somebody buys one or buys a digital copy of it and I see it. It pops up in my email when somebody does it, and it's really awesome. But if people share it, if people say, hey, that's a cool cover, or people say, I follow her, I love her, and they share it, that's accreditation for me for what I'm trying to do.
Definitely, man. Yeah.
And I've got so many new editing tools. People don't even know what's going to happen in the next month. I'm going to tell you firsthand. You're the first one to know this, and your audience is the first one to know this. We're going to unveil all new logos, everything for the magazine. Next, after the issue tomorrow, the April issue is going to unveil with all new logos. We already have all new page layouts. Our website, www.dominatememag.com, is all brand new, own domain, set, ready to go. It's a brand new website. Compliments of Sex Secretos out of Peru. They bought the domain and gave it to us and said, here you go. So we use them. They have a permanent lifetime advertising as part of being this magazine, because domains are not cheap. And for them to do that was really awesome. And so I just want accreditation. I hope we win the UK Fetish Awards. We're pushing really hard. We need people to go vote for us because you can vote once every 24 hours. And if they share it on their social media, that doubles the vote. So, you know, that's the main thing. It's just
Can you send me the link for that?
yeah, I'll send you the link for it.
Yeah, send me the link for that. I'll put it in on the page and everything.
Okay, I'll send you the link for it because
definitely. Okay, speaking about money, we have a segment here called BDSM on a budget. Now, I highly recommend that if you have the money, support quality BDSM products and people and everything like that.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the money. And I'm not really talking about products. I'm talking about just what are some ways that people who don't have the extra money, to spend, that they could still be kinky in a creative way.
You can do what I do. A lot of the time, or something like I do. Let's say you have a talent. My talent is photography, is one of my talents. I have done photography for trade, for quality products. I have 3 or 4 floggers, especially my steampunk floggers and my goth floggers that were from Fat Unicorn Creations. I did their promo photography for all their stuff so that they could advertise it on their social medias. And in return, they gave me, they helped me out with my Gothic flogger, and they cut me a discount on the 2 steampunk floggers that I got. You can use your talents in a bunch of different ways. You can host parties. You can and get people that make this stuff over to your party. They don't have to bring their whole library. They can just bring like a little suitcase with a couple of things, or you can, if you want to do it on a budget, I highly, highly, highly recommend you make your own stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. You can go to wish.com and you can order 100 metal studs for $5. They are the same metal studs that you're going to find in Michael's for $15, $20. You get them for $5 and you get 100 of them.
Wow.
You can buy leather from eBay for nothing. You can, or if you do have the extra, you can go to Etsy.com and you can support some of these independent artists who make the clothes, who make this stuff. But if you're on a budget and you want to learn how to make it, there's YouTube videos out there that show you how to make floggers. You can order the leather online for next to nothing. You can buy the pretty bells and whistles for pennies on the dollar off of wish.com and glue them on yourself. Or go buy, like, one of the best things you could possibly buy is a riveting gun for leather. If you go buy a leather riveting gun, you can rivet all this stuff yourself and make it yourself. Especially if you see something and you're like, I could make that so much better. If it had this or that, you can do that. You can make it yourself. Find something in your heart that says that you can do it, something that you like, and do it.
That's awesome. All right.
Yeah, I'm a carpenter, and pretty soon I'm going to start making some furniture. I already made my post, so I'm going to go and I'm a fine carpenter. I can use linoleum. I can use tile. I can make some really, 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 really fancy crucifixes if I need to.
Then you could, Mistress Lydia, her whole nun thing can come into play with that.
One idea I've got for a crucifix is, you ever seen the gold lion door knockers?
Yeah.
Can you imagine those as restraint holders on your crucifix?
That's pretty good.
How would that be? I mean, walking around a hardware store, you get these ideas and you're like, that is sick. That would be badass.
That's pretty good. Oh my God, that's good. All right. So rapid fire recommendations. They don't have to be BDSM or kink related at all. Okay. Just literally just recommend this, recommend that. Recommend the film.
Recommend a film. The Secretary. My favorite.
Oh yes. I love Maggie Gyllenhaal. James Spader.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's always going to be my go-to. If somebody asks me, that's my go-to.
That's wonderful because they're both like such broken people, but they find this healing thing in their
Spirit, man. Kindred spirits will find each other.
Yeah. Okay. Recommend a book.
A book. Anything by Laurel K. Hamilton.
Okay.
If you're, because I'm a big fantasy guy, and there is like some really hardcore vampire BDSM scenes in a lot of Laurel K. Hamilton's books. I have a hard time getting through a whole book, but I love skimming through to find the juicy stuff. So,
okay. Recommend a song.
A song. Eve to Adam. And hang on, I'll find I'll get it right now because it's absolutely one of my favorite songs.
I'm not familiar with that song.
Yeah, Eve to Adam is one of my favorite bands. And the song is, hang on, Straight Jacket Supermodel.
Yeah, I own a straight jacket.
Yeah, the song is called
Christmas.
Yeah. See, anytime you ask me like titles and stuff, a lot of time I've got the internet in front of me. I have to go look.
That's fine. Okay.
I'll remember what I'm looking for. And yeah, the song is called Straight Jacket Supermodel. Badass song.
Recommend a meal.
A meal?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never had that question asked before.
I know. I hit the hard hitting ones. The hard hitting.
If I was to recommend, let's say I have a slave and I want her to make me something, it's definitely going to be baked chicken, mashed potatoes, and gravy.
Okay.
And probably bake me some brownies too, because I'm a brownie nut.
Oh yeah. Oh.
If you put pecans in it, you're gonna get slapped. You're gonna get a slap on the behind because I do not.
What about peanut butter and brownies?
Peanut butter and brownies is really good. Butter brownies are good. We actually had peanut butter ribbon ice cream today. So, yeah.
Okay, so before we get to the plugs and the shout outs and everything like that, this is the word association game.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to say a word or a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
You say the first thing that pops into your head. So if I say chastity, you may say lock. If I say chastity and you're thinking about, chicken and mashed potatoes, you could say that too. There's no wrong answer. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not submissive, so I'm not gonna. If you throw out a chastity thing, I'm liable to say shiny.
That's fine. That's what I said. There's no wrong answer. We can get it. So this is the fun part, which is absurd and silly and weird. The second rule we have is the first rule is say the first thing that comes into your head. Literally say the first thing that comes into your head. There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. This is just being silly. All right. The second rule is we don't kink shame.
No.
So if I say something that you're not into, please do not make fun of it, and please say, not my thing. That's it. Okay.
No. I'm a big judgment guy. If you judge somebody around me, I'm going to let you know that I'm not crazy.
Yeah. I'm very, very much against kink shaming. But then we have this. This is the jar.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is Tangle Blue. We talked about Tangle Blue. She wrote the article about the $5 spreader bar made from Home Depot. We have a very, very weird sense of humor. It's very absurd, very just kind of wild and weird. I don't know what I'm pulling out of this jar. Okay. Yeah. So there's little pieces of paper and they have little phrases. Some of them is kink related, some of them are not,
Yeah.
But keep in mind that this is not planned. I haven't written this out. I'm doing this off the top of my head, just like you are too. So we're equals. Okay.
This reminds me of the game show What's Behind Door Number 3.
All right. Oh, I ran out of ginger ale. All right. I need sparkling water. All right, ready to go?
I'm ready to go, brother.
You got your helmet on, strapped in?
Well, as much as I can possibly have on. This cranium kind of.
All right, let's go. Dildos.
Black.
The St. Andrew's Cross.
Punishment.
Leather.
Latex.
Latex.
Shiny.
Knife play.
Fun.
Fire play.
Hot.
Wax play.
Hard.
The daddy baby girl dynamic.
Love it.
The 50s housewife dynamic.
Love it.
All right, cages.
Had one.
Choking.
Yes.
Branding.
No.
Fisting.
No.
Giving or receiving?
Neither.
Okay. All right, blood play.
Yes.
All right.
As long as it's clean.
Okay. The sploshing.
No. I am not. I actually just learned what, man, these new terms come out, and I just learned it. I watched a video, a girl sat right on a cake and just demolished the cake, and I was like, so that's what that is.
It's so funny that you say that, because I just interviewed a therapist, a sex therapist, a sexologist named Carlos, and yeah, she like has her own show as well, and yeah, she her favorite videos of her sitting on a cake.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. I like I'm not even a cake guy. First of all, I'm not really big on cakes. So if I'm gonna eat my cake, at least let me have it in one piece, you know.
Okay, pegging.
To each his own.
All right, sissy maids.
To each his own. I think it's neat, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that someone could want that and feel like that makes them fulfilled. That's something that's unique to me that I find very interesting.
Okay. All right. Leather.
Love it. I have a black leather jacket that I wear every day, and a friend of mine bought it for me, and I love that jacket.
All right. Consensual, non-consensual.
Love it.
Okay.
That's something that I was taught how to do, and I absolutely love it.
All right. How do you keep it safe?
A lot of trust and a lot of communication.
Okay.
Usually the one who wants it is the one who will bring it up, and they will tell you, they will give you and a lot of time you can do it in a role play type atmosphere. So if you do it in a role play, rather than just bust in and just grab someone and start just throwing them against the wall and stuff, if you do it in a role play atmosphere where you're like, you know, a prisoner who just got out of jail and he's running from the cops and he finds a home that's secluded, someone's in there, or you can do it from a peeping Tom standpoint, or you can do it, you know, if you turn it into something that's where the trust is there and she gives you the idea, that lets you as the dominant know that she trusts you. I mean, you can come up with the idea too, but if you let her openly do it, that makes it a lot easier. And if you know her inside and out, and like I said, you have that mutual 100% trust with each other, you can really not only pull it off, but make it special in the end.
Yeah.
There's a certain degree of aftercare that has to be given to me personally, has to be given after that.
I actually wrote a chapter in the book Your Kinky Friends. It's called Baise-moi, which is French for rape me, based on a book and a movie.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing is about my friend who wants me to role play rape her. And you know, we were so irresponsible and we didn't use safe words or anything like that, but she loved it. She absolutely loved it. And then, you know, like I'm all sweaty and I'm like done afterwards, and she's like, oh, that was great. She's like, you know what though, next time. I was like, what? She goes, next time we should use knives. I'm like,
yeah, I've seen the escalation, and I've experienced the escalation into using weapons and implements and stuff like that. So yeah, I've had all that experience, and it took me from my first time I was a little bit freaked out, because
you wrap your head around it because I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to
I don't ever want. And everybody who knows me knows I'm like this super, like I ultra care about people. Like
yeah,
I'm so, what's the word? I'm so empathetic that because of the primal part of me makes me very empathetic, and so I feel, that, and I care about people. So to turn right around and take that care and absolutely not care about someone to the point that I'm taking something from them, that was something that took a long time for me to wrap my head around.
We're going in the jar.
Let's go deep into the jar.
Okay. Beg.
Plead.
Vulva sauce.
Flavor saver.
Underboob.
Perfect for photography.
Oh, okay. Mew, mew, mew.
Cat play.
Cat play. Okay. Oh.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Hand puppet.
Wow, what the hell?
I don't know why she crab.
Oh, see a doctor.
Sweet dick.
Good time.
Okay. All right. Piss play.
Yes.
Okay. Giving or receiving?
Giving.
Okay. And finally, we reach the end. This is a dumb pun. Scat.
No.
Okay. All right. Oh my God. Mr. Harris.
Yes, sir.
You have been an absolute wonderful guest. Shout out to Mistress Lydia. She is an amazing, amazing woman. And I look forward to both of your, creative.
I love that woman.
God, she's awesome. She's so good.
She is. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. I totally dropped the ball one time, and I got so busy with my personal life and with Christmas and a lot of things going on during the Christmas season that I was like, I'm working on the magazine and getting it, and I was like, crap, I don't have a BDSM freaking article. I forgot to tell her what I needed. I was like, yeah, I kind of dropped the ball. And the magazine's due out tomorrow. Can you get me an article? And she was like, well, what do you want it to be on? I was like, BDSM and relationships. She was like, okay. 2 hours. 2 hours in my email.
That's impressive.
She freaking ripped it off. And I was, I can't give that woman enough props.
Yeah.
How much?
Badass.
I'm telling you, man, all I have to do is throw out a phrase and I've got an article that tops less than 2 days. Tops less than 2 days.
She's awesome. And she connected me with you. She is
a fantastic woman and very skilled and very knowledgeable of any and everything that is BDSM. She's more hardcore, more on the hardcore side. So if you're a submissive and you like walking away beaten, battered, bruised with absolutely no kind.
She's also funny as can be. Like she's quirky humor is amazing.
She has this quirky humor where the level of sarcasm that I know she could throw into a scene would totally crush any male to bits.
Yeah.
You walk away just like, damn.
She's so good. Oh,
but you're grateful for it at the same time because she's a level of care that's still there.
Okay, so let's take this time. First of all, stay on the line after we're done just for a couple minutes. I won't waste your time. That's one main rule that I have: is don't waste kinky people's time. Especially dominatrixes. Don't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you will pay for it.
I am short and sweet with everyone I've ever talked to.
So okay, so take this time to promote anything and everything you got, whether it's the magazine, whether it's appearances, whether it's websites, social media, FetLife, you name it, go.
Okay. I want everyone to check out Purgatory Single Cell Productions. Torch Baldwin will hang me from the rafters if I don't plug him. He's an absolutely cool guy. But we're going to be there. Dominate Me Magazine is going to be at the next Purgatory in Charlotte at Amos's South End. Check them out. Purgatory on Facebook. It's going to be called Medical Mayhem. It's a BDSM medical themed event, and it's going to be awesome. Every single one that he puts together has an awesome theme. Check them out. Single Cell Productions on Facebook, Purgatory on Facebook. Also, I want to give a shout out to www.sexsecretaries.com. They have been absolutely wonderful to me and to this magazine. They have really picked us up, catapulted us out there. I want to thank Miss Joyce Banks, experienced dominatrix out of Rayford, for allowing me to do photo workshops at her house. Her house is fully set up Victorian, and she helps me out there. I want to thank DamesNation.com for throwing us on their website so that all the domies out there can see us and know that we're there. I want to thank all the models, especially all the photographers and all the designers, Canadian Fetish Photos, Irish One Photography, MBJ Photography, KJW Photography, and the list goes on and on. I could Funkographer, check him out. He's up for UK Fetish Award. We're up for UK Fetish Award, and so go to UK Fetish Awards, look up the artists there, vote for them. They work hard, they deserve it. They're put there for a reason. So, you know, vote for us. We're working really hard for you to bring you a top quality lifestyle publication for you. So all those photographers who have donated to this magazine, Frank and Sella, all of them, they're absolutely fantastic. All the models have got in touch with us. We love you. We always love you. We always care about you. We'll do anything for y'all. And thank you for having us on the show. I really appreciate it.
Oh my God, I loved it. I love talking about creating art. I love talking about kink. I love talking about, like, you're doing it. You're doing it punk rock style too. Like you're doing it yourself, and I absolutely love it. So go to yourkinkyfriends.com. Check out all the links on this for this interview. Support Mistress Lydia and obey her. Don't waste her time.
Cohen the Butcher, 100% awesome fetish model. She is in every one of our magazines at the beginning with clothing. Hang on. I gotta get him in. If I don't, he's gonna kick my ass. Nick Ball and Cohen the Butcher and Salician Clothing, man. They've been awesome to us too. I really had to get that in there. Check Salician Clothing out on Facebook and Cohen the Butcher because they're like family to me.
Nice. Wonderful. You can check me out at yourkinkyfriends.com. I'm on Twitter at Nicholas Tanek. I'm on Instagram at Nick Tanek. Then there's at Friends Kinky on Instagram and at Friends Kinky on Twitter. On FetLife, I'm at Your Kinky Friends. And we have a Discord chat group, which is great. It comes and goes. Sometimes it's real busy, sometimes it's dead, but it's a Discord chat group. Check out Jets Arcade on Facebook. That's wonderful. Oh my God, you got to get on that. that's Jets Arcade.
Okay.
Jet GETT. Yeah. Oh, I'll send you an invite for it. You'll love it.
Okay.
People are awesome. And what else? Yeah, Patreon. Go to patreon.com/YKF. Send us some money. We're gonna have exclusive content soon. We don't really make much money from advertising or anything like that. We do this for the love, and that's why I absolutely love this guy.
You're awesome, man. I appreciate you a whole bunch. I can't thank y'all enough for having me on. I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be on any kind of interview in my life.
Oh my God, we got to share ideas. We got to share ideas. So
I'm all about
stay on the line after we're done. And oh my
Right.
God, it's getting late. My dom is calling me.
Oh,
Remember the cardinal rule:
oh, you better answer.
be cool,
Yep.
be kind,
Be kind.
and keep an open mind.
Exactly. No joke.